Hey guys, it's me Samwise511 and I'm here to review the high-grade After Colony Shenlong Gundam from New Mobile Report Gundam Wing. This kit was initially released in Japan on September 2022 and retails for 1,650 Japanese yen. 9 years since the release of the high-grade After Colony Wing Gundam, we're finally able to complete the initial 5 Gundams from Gundam Wing. This was a kit that was long overdue since the release of the high-grade Build Divers Gundam Gion Altron. But surprisingly, Bandai decided to make an entirely new mold for this release, instead of usually recycling existing runners from kits that have similar design aspects. Like the rest of the initial 1:144 scale wing kits, the first Shenlong was released way back at 1995 for the price of 500 Japanese yen, and was re-released with a Wu Fei figure included for 600 yen. Visually and build-wise, this newer iteration of the Shenlong in 1:144 scale is definitely worth 3 times the price of the older kit. With the updated proportions, improved articulation, and spot-on color separation, this update was really worth every penny. As with most high grades, the Shenlong seeks to recreate the mobile suit's look from its anime, and it succeeds in all aspects. With its tastefully distributed royal blue and white color scheme, combined with hints of yellow and red, it's quite odd that this suit possesses a more lead Gundam color scheme than the Wing Gundam. Great color separation ensures the Shenlong is almost color accurate, as expected from a mobile suit that needed to compete for attention with the other 4 Gundams. The Shenlong has a very ornate and imposing design that is retained in this latest iteration. Now before we go any further, let's just deal with that elephant in the room, and that is the green sensors on its shoulders. Sadly, Bandai got a bit lazy and opted to give us color correcting stickers instead of metallic injected or clear green pieces. Mind you that no matter how good you stick those on, stickers on round surfaces are hideous and cheap looking. So if there's one place that needs a touch of paint, it's those shoulders. One aspect I really like about the design is that awesome looking chest unit. It really resembles that of an armored breastplate on ancient Chinese battle armors, further emphasizing that this Gundam is all about its close quarters combat capabilities. Like the rest of the wing kits I reviewed on this channel, the Shenlong doesn't really pack much, but what it has built in on the suit itself is probably the most impressive out of the bunch. It comes with the iconic Shenlong shield, the beam glaive as well as the effect part, 2 extension pieces for the dragon fangs, and 2 extra pairs of hands. First we look at the Shenlong shield. The size and shape of the shield helps with the Gundam's mobility when pulling off martial arts moves. The underside of the shield has a 3mm peg hole, so you can change the orientation of the shield when attached to the left arm. The Shenlong can use it for defensive purposes, or as a throwing weapon, as seen in one episode. The beam glaive as the primary weapon of the Shenlong is very simple and plain looking, but it's the business end that will surely catch your attention. A rather vigorous beam effect part is included. It may not be as long as the death scythes, but it keeps the Chinese motif intact. When not in use, the weapon can be stored on the backpack of the Gundam for easy reach. When it comes to hands, the Shenlong packs the standard holding hands and open hands, along with some ankled hands for more dynamic and expressive slashing poses with the beam glaive. With all the weapons attached, the HGAC Shenlong is a very striking and ornate kit. Named after the spiritual dragon from Chinese mythology, you can definitely feel the boldness of its martial arts inspired design. Now we get to the main event of the Shenlong Gundam, the Dragon Fang. The segments of the weapon can be tucked inside the right shoulder armor. When stored, the upper arm is fixed with an open C-shaped connection so it doesn't droop down and can be deployed without replacing any parts. The gimmick is faithful to the anime except for the fact that the right hand must be removed to emulate it being tucked inside. I'd also want to add that the Dragon Fang also comes with built-in flamethrowers on its sides that are also in need of gray paint. The reach of the Dragon Fang can be further lengthened with the included extension pieces. Each extension piece is connected to the first and second segments of the Dragon Fang in a somewhat key-style fashion. This is something to keep in mind in the long run, as you don't want to yank on the pieces and end up snapping the connection points. With the right arm extended, you are left with a plethora of hinges and swivels that you can mess around with. You are only limited by your imagination on ways on how you can pose this very articulated arm. Just keep in mind that the farther you position the dragon head from the suit itself, the more that you have to deal with gravity. Now for articulation, the head is on a double ball joint that can turn and wiggle and do everything a ball joint does. Both arms can turn around a full 360, but due to the asymmetry of the design, the range of the outward movement is different on both sides. The elbows are both double jointed, but due to the asymmetry again of the design and the dragon fang in the way, it is slightly different on the right side. The torso is constructed differently from the rest of the Gundams in this line. It's not surprising that the range of movement on this one is far better than the rest. The upper half of the torso can turn a full 360 unrestricted. Since the waist section is constructed similarly to that of the Sandrock, expect movable skirts on all sides. The front skirts are molded together but can be separated for independent movement. Just like the Gundams that came before it in the line, the exact same gimmick is implemented on the Shenlong to help the torso lean even further for more emotive poses. And like most modern high grades during its time, it comes with hip joints that swing down to help the kit kick even further to the front. Hips are on a universal joint that helps with the splits. You get a thigh swivel, double jointed knees. Ankle armor is attached to the back of the foot via ball joint. The toe can point downwards and upwards. Since the foot is on a ball joint, it can turn, wiggle, and pivot side to side for wide stances. With a mobile suit that's specifically engineered for close quarters combat and at the same time perform martial arts, giving this poor or average articulation would have done the suit justice. Thankfully, Bandai took their time with this release with a completely new mold from the one seen on the Giant Ultron. The only problem I see, but it has more to do with the design itself, is the limited ankle movement due to the large ankle armor, though I think it's a bit more unrestricted compared to both the Sandrock and the Death Scythe. It's a good thing that this could get into wide stances while keeping both feet flat on the ground. Now let's wrap up this review with the things to take note of when getting this kit. In terms of getting the kit show accurate, you're really gonna have to bust out that green paint for the shoulders. I can't stress enough how much that is a requirement. Some minor details can also be done, like the flamethrowers on the Dragon Fang and the gray vents on the feet. In terms of articulation, this kit is really posable for a high grade and is probably one of the best articulated Gundams of the 5. I would also like to include the plastic quality of this kit. It's different from the typical HGAC plastic we've been getting. The whites and blues on the kit have this nice matte finish that gives the illusion that the kit was hit with a matte top coat. Cleaning up nubs are also a breeze, since the plastic felt a bit softer than the typical polystyrene used in Gunpla. So, even if Bandai got lazy on the shoulders of this kit, in terms of overall quality, this is probably the best among the 5. I would definitely recommend this kit, especially if you're a Gundam Wing fan like myself. With that said, this concludes my review of the high-grade After Colony Shenlong Gundam. Now, in case if you're wondering if any of these 5 can be in a shelf on its own, if you're only interested in the Wing Gundam, then it's fine if you have no plans on getting the rest of the 4. Then might as well go for the real grade. Personally built the Sandrock first when it was initially released, and I found myself buying the next as Bandai went through the line. Though I reviewed the Wing Gundam first, it was actually the last one I've built. It's that concept of a team wherein each one plays a different role, and let's face it, a heavy dose of 90s nostalgia that led me to complete these 5. I believe just getting one of these is never going to be enough. If you're getting one, might as well buy them all. In terms of other wing kits, I currently have the Heavy Arms Kai, the RG Tall Geese TV animation color version, and the V8 and Mercurius twin set in my backlog. I'm still in the hunt for Sandrock Kai and Wing Zero, as well as the just announced Death Scythe Hell, and eventually the Altron Gundam. So hopefully when the time comes that I get hold of those kits, I'll be able to review those as well. If you enjoyed the video and find content like this informative, it would be awesome for you guys to smack the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you'll be informed as soon as a new video comes out. Now that we're finished with Gundam Wing, we now move on to other series and mecha plastic models. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Peace out, guys.